Hi folks, this week we're going to look at putting a few things together that we've looked at before. Also changed up a little bit of the production. Going to DaVinci Resolve now off the Mac platforms I've used before. So let's put some tools together and come up with a movie. So I'm going to start with my old Western Sydney Wanderers hat and pull out a generic person. It is I don't know if you can see that, a gambler. So let's look at one of the tools. I think we've discussed this before. It is opposites. We write down everything we know about a person or a situation or a scenario, and then we write down the opposite. And in those opposites, see if there is any opportunities. What do we know about gamblers? They put money down versus odds or a situation of something happening. And if the situation happens, they win money. Quite often it's race horses, card games. It's always a game of chance. And that's the part of the gamble, is it has to be a game of chance. It's not a chess competition or something which is skill. The idea of gambling is that there is chance involved. So we'll come back to the game at the moment. So the classic would be that they're not very successful at their gambling, and this is causing them an issue. She's been out, she's just bored. And this is causing them an issue. So let's do some field force analysis, which is a similar thing. You draw a line down the center, you put what you want on the left-hand side and things that are opposing them on the right-hand side. So now we're using the opposition tool. So we know what gamblers do. Gamblers put money down, chance, get money back. So let's look at the opposites. They don't put money down. It isn't a game of chance, and they don't get a return on investment. So how would those three things come about? Okay, they put money down on spec. They actually don't have the money. They're saying to someone, look, I'll give you $10,000. I'll put this bet on for me. And of course, the obvious thing that's not going to come in, they now owe $10,000. So it's not a game of chance. It's rigged. So they put the money down. They find out that it's rigged. And now they don't want to pay the money, but the people they owe the money to is desperate for the money. So they're not going to get their money back, they're not paying their money, and it was no longer a game of chance. There's some elements that we can use in a story. Not a game of chance, the money didn't go down, they owe the money, but they're not going to get their money back. Okay, so field force analysis. Line down the center. Everything the person wants. Well, the person wants not to owe the money. The person wants to win money. They want what they're owed. Gambling is regulated in most countries, so we'll say that there's an opportunity there. Why aren't they going through regulation? So what's going to oppose that? They want their money. Well, the person's not going to pay their money. So what's stopping them from getting their money? The person's not going to pay them. Why don't they put pressure on the person? Well, regulation for a regulated industry would allow them to put pressure on the person to pay them. So they're obviously in a non-regulated market, so that's an opposition to them. If it's a non-regulated market, it's probably an illegal casino, illegal bookmaker, off-track type betting. So now we've got this illegal activity that he's involved in. This person has set something up so it's not a game of chance anymore. He knows this, which puts this person in danger. But they want their money. So we can't have these two people as the same people for a story point of view. So the person who has taken the chance out and the person who has the money to are two different people. Otherwise, you just say, I'm not paying you because you rigged it. So he does owe the money to the person who put the bet on. We'll say he can't get out of that. But the person who rigged it is more powerful than the person who has the money to. So even if he tells the person who has money to, well, Big Harry over there rigged it, he's going to say, I didn't, you owe me the money, you placed the bet. So we've got that issue now. You placed a bet, you owe me money, Big Harry knows. So if Big Harry finds out that you know that he rigged it, you're in more trouble again. All this lack of money, money these days, if you use Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is a base version of security. So he's in a less secure position. Not only doesn't he have the money, he now owes money, so he's in a negative secure position. This would impact on his family. So now we put family in there and sort of say, okay, so now he's letting his family down. How is that going to work? How's that going to run? We're starting to get some ideas around the people and the things that are being involved by using those two simple things. Look at the world that we know, look at the opposite of that world. Is there any opportunities? Field force analysis, what does he want? What's in opposition? Prompts thought. I pulled that randomly out of my hat. Okay, I mean, I could have ended up with a, what else could we have here? A cleaner, a policeman. I think there's a fisherman in there. There's an 18th century school teacher. There's all sorts of characters that we build stories around. Now from there, we need to understand this person a bit more. I've been saying him, so I'm going to stick with that pronoun. This gambler is a loser guy. Let's look at the standard empathy matrix so we can develop some empathy for this person. So we've got what has he seen? What has he said in the past? What has he done, and how does he feel about this situation? Well, what has he said? Well, if we've established earlier that he's in that negative situation where he's let his family down, probably not going to be honest about that situation. So what has he said? He said, oh, don't worry, I've got some money coming, I've got a job coming, I've got some work coming. He's going to try to hide some other debts. So he's slowly eking away at the family existence. So that's what he said in the past. So he's not going to come good with this one. What has he done? Well, in the past, he's always gambled semi-clandestinely, not being completely upfront, but the family knows that he's a bit of a loser. How does he feel? Well, he believes he can get himself out of this, as most gamblers do. So he's sure that he'll do well. He's going to get out of this because he's a smart guy. He knows the system. He knows, that's why he's a gambler, because he knows the system. He was just unlucky. So what's he said in the past? What's he saying now about the situation? How does he feel about the situation? What's he done? And what's he heard? Well, he's probably heard from the family that he was on his last warning, no more gambling. This is your biggest problem. He's heard from another guy, if you don't pay me, I'm going to ruin you. So maybe we get to a situation where being ruined or being killed is the best thing he can see happen for his family. That's towards the end. We'll figure that out later. So what's happened in the past? He's on his last warning. He's spent the money. He can't tell them what he's done, even though he said he hadn't gambled anymore. He's in a negative situation. So now we've got this family dynamic over here. We've got the gambling dynamic over here of him needing that money. We've got this guy down here that perhaps he's going to be one of those guys who goes, I know you fixed it. If I go to you and you pay off my debt, and then maybe he manages to get that done around halfway through, we think he's home cleared. He's managed to get the guy who fixed it to pay his debt for him, but then he gets greedy and it oversteps the mark. So it spirals out of control from there. So when people say you've got to give a character a flaw, this is a very important thing. But the flaw has to be tied to his objective or to the character's objective. It's no good saying, oh, his flaw is that he's arrogant, and we never see a situation where he gets to use his arrogance. People have hundreds of flaws. I know I have hundreds of flaws. I was saying to someone the other day that I try to be helpful. I try to be polite and professional, but there is a few little things that people can say that will just turn me knives out. I'll lose it. Not lose it as in go hysterical, but I just put my professionalism to one side and will speak honestly to them. One of the, my favourite one is when there'll be a program for a minority group, female writers, people from an ethnic background, whatever, and people like me, white guys in their 50s that have run the world for the last 100 years go, oh, see, I'm losing opportunities. Doesn't matter if you've had 1,000 years of opportunities and everyone else has been pushed aside. Giving someone else an opportunity doesn't take anything away from you. End of rant. So we've got this. We've got a guy. And now we've come together with this bit of a story now. He's got a flaw that he believes he knows the system, that he's smart enough to get out from this. He's better than the average person. He doesn't have to work. So he's got this low self-esteem, arrogant thing going on where he doesn't see where he's walking into a bad situation, but his arrogance is telling him that he's better than this. But his arrogance is based on ignorance. So that's like his flaw. He doesn't understand that he's a loser, even though he is. He has promised his family he's not going to gamble anymore. Maybe there was an opportunity. Maybe his wife had arranged some work for him and he's buggered off on that and let her down. But he was sure, he had this sure thing. He heard that there was a fix in. So he put the money on the wrong side of the fix. But he didn't have the money to put down. He just said to the guy, "Oh, trust me, I'm good for this 10 grand or whatever it is." Because now he's going to win enough to pay off a house. And then his wife will like him. Then his wife will see that he's not a loser. When he walks home with a big wad of cash, she'll forgive him for all his past wrongs. So he's put the money down. He's lost. He's figured out the fix was in, but it's on the wrong side. Whatever this is, poker, horse racing, doesn't matter at the moment. So the guy who had the fix in figures out that he knows about it through some mechanism. He tries to blackmail the guy, and the guy is not really willing to double down on this by killing him. So he pays off the guy's debt. He gets too arrogant. He could have walked away right then and there, gone back, apologised to the wife, maybe survived the relationship, maybe not. Could have got a job. He played with fire, got a bit burnt, came home. But instead, he's doubled down because, remember, that smart arrogance. This is where his flaw comes in. He's sure he's better than the average punter. So he's going to get in there and manipulate it and come out on top and still prove to his wife how great he is. But now this guy isn't going to put up with that. Now he has crossed a line. Now he has to be taken care of. He's still, so now we've got that triangle. So now he's trying to survive that and placate his wife. So his wife leaves him. She's gone. He's thinking that it's very bad. Everything's horrible. He can't go to the police because it's an illegal activity that he's been involved in. We've got to jump a few more little hurdles in there for him, put a few more things against him, and then we've got a story. Because you only really need 70 scenes. If you got about 65 to 75 scenes, and not just a shot, but an individual little story, an individual little thing that happens, a twist, a turn, an element, something where you can give information to someone. That's what a scene is, really. You've got to give information. Someone has to learn it. The character has to learn it. The audience has to learn it. It's going to move the story forward. There has to be a slight change in power. If we've got 70 opportunities to give that information and we can push those together in a coherent manner, that is a feature film. We've just rattled something together there. This is me just brainstorming, being stalked by a poodle. And that's it. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon, all those sorts of things. Thanks very much. And until next time, guys, keep writing. Bye.